All right, guys, I found my black marker. Still working on substitution. So 4A4, this is your star. Also, there's another star, A5. Well, no, I'm sorry. That's A6. I'm going to show you A5. Okay, so we're still doing substitution. We're still solving by substitution here. This is still example A. I have been given y equals 6x squared, so it's already solved for the lonely variable. So it looks like this is going to be an easy one. Since y equals 6x squared, I can just plug it in for the y. If I do that, what I have, I rewrite, as there was no reason to have to rearrange anything. So what I have is 7x plus, and instead of the letter y, I'm going to write 6x squared. 6x squared, and it all equals 3. Right, so I've replaced. Okay, so we have x squareds and x's. I have two different types of the variable that has not happened before, and when this happens, we have to set it equal to 0 and factor. I can hear the cheers. All right, so I will subtract 3 from both sides, and if I put this in standard form, I have my 6x squared first, followed by my positive 7x. Lastly, I have my minus 3, and it all equals 0. I could put it in the quadratic formula if I like, but I don't want to. You can. What I would do here is try to factor it. I don't have anything that comes out of all 3, so this is the kind where you'd have to multiply the first and the last. So 6 times negative 3 gives me negative 18. I need numbers that multiply to negative 18 and add to 7. What are those numbers? X multiplies to negative 18 and adds to positive 7. That would be a positive 9 and a negative 2. 9 times negative 2 multiplies to negative 18, but 9 plus negative 2 gives me 7. This was the kind where if I had a leading coefficient that was greater than 0, I needed to divide both numbers by it. Okay, if it reduced, I let it do so. If it turned into a pretty number, I let it do so. But 9 over 6 reduces, does not turn into a whole number, but it will be a 3 over 2. And 2 over 6, same thing, it just reduces, and that would be a 1 over 3. Which means that my answers would be the opposite, right? Because I need it to equal 0, so then that x would have to be a negative 3 over 2. And this x would have to be a positive 1/3. Are we done? No, because those aren't our answers. We need the x and the y coordinates. So I need to know what goes along with this x and what goes along with this x. You see, the situation we have here, since this is squared, you guys remember that is a parabola shape. So I have one parabola, and this is all to the first power, so one straight line. And if I have a parabola and a straight line, chances are they cross in 2 different places, which is why I'm ending up with 2 separate answers. Okay, so back to this y. Y equals 6 times something squared. I will plug in my first x. So what if the x was negative 3 over 2? Okay, again, I'm sure at home you have your calculators, but if you don't, negative 3 squared is a positive 9, and 2 squared is a 4, and 6 times 9 over 4 would be, what, 54 over 4? Is that how I did that? Probably not. I would probably reduce, but 54 over 4 would reduce to a 27 over 2. I'm running out of space. I think that's as simple as it's going to get. So this first answer, when the x was negative 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2, the y ended up being 27 over 2. 27 over 2, answer number 1. And I gotta do the same thing for 1/3. So back to that y equals 6x squared, so y equals 6 times 1/3 squared. Put the 1/3 in there. And that would be 6 times 1 squared is 1, 3 squared is 9. All right, so that's just going to give me a 6 over 9, which will reduce to a 2 over 3. So when x was 1/3, your y was 2/3. When x was 1/3, the y was 2/3, and that is answer number 2. Woo! Your number 6 is going to have 2 answers as well. 2 answers as well. My hint to you, if you're trying number 6, you're going to end up factoring out an x squared. All right, start time.